what to do if you're terrible at telling jokes. Okay, so imagine this. You're standing in a room full of people telling your joke, okay? And you build up the suspense and people are holding on to every word you're saying. But right when you hit the punchline, you realise that you're the only one laughing. Telling jokes might sound easy, but it's a really hard job, and perfect timing, perfect storytelling, and the perfect reaction from your audience can be a real sticking point. But what do you do if you're just terrible at telling jokes? Well, don't worry, guys, do not worry, because just like everyone else in the world, the art of telling jokes comes with practice. And in fact, some of the most famous comedians in the world have come to terms with the fact they're terrible at telling jokes. Now, this might come off as a surprise, but anti-comedy is just as funny as actual comedy. Okay, so if you're wondering what anti-comedy is, think Andy Kaufman. Now, he is the American performing artist. He is referred to as one of the most famous comedians in history. But here's the catch, right? Andy Kaufman himself never thought that he was funny. But according to him himself, so, you know, he says that he has never told a single joke in his life. Or at least he hasn't done so intentionally, I don't know. So all of his jokes and everything that happens when he goes on stage is without him trying to be funny. That sounds pretty weird, right? So when the audience is expecting a punchline, there'll be pretty much nothing at all, and that is what is so funny. Most people think that anti-comedy is just people that suck at comedy delivering jokes, but actually the truth is that the unexpected nature of the jokes is exactly what keeps the audience coming back for more. Another way people keep engaged in the stories and, you know, if you're bad at telling jokes, is to embrace the fact that you're not funny. Now, trust me, some of the most famous comedians in the world are known for their cringe humour. Cringe humour. Okay, so that's another alternative to traditional comedy, and it's like telling a joke and the audience expects a punchline and complements the narrative with cringe humour thriving on embarrassment, right? So cringe comedy has become this huge modern phenomenon of our age, and people come up with other ways that they're socially awkward, you know, characters, and they say the things that are inappropriate, and that gives this kind of secondhand shame, which is exactly what makes the whole thing so funny. I mean, it's so embarrassingly bad that you can't help but laugh. Like, think of Paul Rubens in Paul Rubens, right, is a comedian that made use of cringe comedy in his genre, and he did a character called Pee Wee Herman. So he's a man-child who is worried for everyday responsibilities, and Rubens would have put Pee Wee Herman in inappropriate and ambiguous situations with tons of sexual innuendos that the character always seemed to miss, right? And in turn, the audience was constantly being embarrassed for Pee Wee's making the whole act such a huge success. And this way, Rubens turned his whole inability to tell good jokes into something that was intentionally horrible, but somehow still funny at the same time. And that was the mark, and still is the mark, of a true comedian. So on the other hand, if you look at Woody Allen, who is one of the most influential comedians and filmmaker of our time, casual, then you'll see that he has also experimented with an unusual style. And in his comedy, Allen developed this genre of comedy called monologue comedy, right? Where he didn't tell any jokes. Instead, he would pick a topic and keep talking about it, right? So he developed like this anxious persona for his stand-up shows, and this character, known as the Nebbish, English word, was supposed to be the pitiful loser who struggles to find his way through life using monologues and other things to show who he is. But Alan would narrate real life experiences of his character without meaning for them to be funny or to sound funny. But the persona itself was so hilarious that people couldn't help but laugh. And at his unfortunate life event, most people called Woody Allen's comedy lazy because they didn't believe it was a persona. However, people failed to notice that Allen's comedy was smart, unlike traditional comedians. Allen tried his best not to project a stage persona while stammering and stuttering through his monologues. Like, he did all of his deadpan expressions, which just made the whole thing funnier. And as if the character was real. So you see, comedy isn't necessarily just about like delivering the joke with the perfect punchline. You know, it's also about finding that chord that strikes your audience, however that may be, and then playing the same chord again and again. And some of the most celebrated comedians in history have been people who found alternative methods of making people laugh without even actually being good at telling jokes. Guys, that is a wrap. Thanks for watching What to Do If You're Terrible at Telling Jokes. And if you like the video, make sure that you give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. See you later, guys. Comment if you have anything to say. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.